Welcome back everyone. The iPhone XS Max came out in 2018, so you already know we have to look at it in the middle of 2020. And I did a full on review early on this year, and like I said, some things change, some things don't. In this case, a couple things we have gotten a successor in a way of this phone, not really, which was the iPhone SE2. It wasn't this phone, but we have gotten a newer iPhone, which is really cool. We also have gotten a couple other updates here and there, and luckily enough, there hasn't been anything crazy that has happened with my XS Max. It still holds up extremely well. The screen is still great, no burn-in on it. Software updates haven't really bricked my device either, so that's a really good sign. And this phone has also depreciated a little bit in the used market, so you can actually pick these up on the refurbished website on apple.com now, which is cool if you guys want to go that way. But they were selling for about that $600 range. I think it was about a little bit cheaper than an iPhone 11, but right now you can pick them up for around $560 to about $550 on Amazon. So I'll go ahead and leave the cheapest one that I find on Amazon. I'll link it down below so you guys can get it from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now looking on the front, first off, if you want a full review, this is not a full review. I dropped one early this year, so you guys can go and watch that. Just type in iPhone XS Max in 2020 and my video will probably be the first one there. Now this thing does have a 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display, and it's still a very good looking panel on it. It's 1242 by 2688. You have Force Touch on it, which is really cool. You have True Tone on it as well, and overall it's a pretty good looking panel. There's really not too much to hate on it. You do have that notch up top still, but mostly all the iPhones have it, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, like I mentioned early on in this video that I kind of hit on, there hasn't been any burn-in on not only my XS Max, but basically any iPhone that I have with an OLED display. I've had zero burn-in on it, which is really good, even on my iPhone 10. And that's a testament to Apple's panels. Well, Samsung makes them, but to Apple, for keeping them. I mean, I've had Samsung phones that have a lot of burn-in on them, but not my iPhones, which is really weird. So the screen is still great in my opinion, and it's still holding up quite well. You have the lightning port on the bottom and dual camera setup on the back with the glass back. And for sure, this thing still feels and looks like a very premium phone. Nothing has really changed in that sense. Of course, with that camera, it's not like the best camera in the world, but it still will get the job done for sure. So I think for sure when you're holding this phone in the hand and everything, it still feels and looks like a very premium phone for sure. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. Nothing has really changed there. Software wise, we have gotten a couple of updates since beginning of this year. So this thing started off with iOS 12. Right now we're on iOS 13.5.1, and the updates have been pretty consistently, average across the board. I'll definitely say for iOS 13, nothing groundbreaking, but at least they're getting updates still. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really good sign. The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus, for example, they're on their last version of software, and those phones came out the same year this one did, so keep that in mind. It's pretty crazy. And this phone still performs very well. The software is great. iOS 14 is right around the corner. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that we have gotten a humongous development in the jailbreak community. If you're below iOS 13.5, you can actually go and jailbreak your device with the uncovered jailbreak, which is extremely awesome. And I think that's one of my favorite things ever, and that's a humongous development that we've seen in the market of just jailbreaking and everything in general. So that for sure is a humongous thing I gotta mention. So software wise, that pretty much covers it. Hitting on the performance, again, nothing has changed. Still pretty much the same fast phone. You have that Apple A12 Bionic chip, hex-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM in all the models. The performance is still extremely good. I don't think it's like the best performing phone or anything like that, but I don't really think anybody's expecting it to be like that. It's an extremely good phone. It handles really every single thing I threw at it for the most part. Is it the fastest performing phone? No, absolutely not, but it's still extremely smooth, man. Like, if I wasn't comparing it side by side, I would just assume this was probably one of the faster iPhones for sure. It's extremely fast, it gets the job done, and besides that, nothing has really changed about the performance. On the back, dual camera setup, two 12 megapixel sensors, a wide angle lens, and a telephoto lens. And like I stated before, man, it definitely gets the job done. You have that capability of doing that telephoto lens, which is really cool. You have that 4K 60 as well, so you can take videos and all that stuff. And even though we have 8K now, 4K 60 is still the norm. I don't even think most people shoot 4K at 30. I think most people stick to 1080p at 30. So I really don't think anybody needs it at that level, but it is what it is. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but at least you have that capability. 7 megapixel camera up front, you can do 1080p at 60 frames as well on that, and overall, still a very good camera setup in my opinion. And ending it off with the battery life, this thing has a 3174 mAh battery. Now my battery health has gone down I think about 2% since the early on this year. I don't really remember, but it was around 1% or 2, which isn't a crazy thing. Batteries degrade over time, and I have been letting my iPhone XS Max and all my iPhones die all the time fully through, and I shouldn't, basically be letting them do that. But it is what it is. It's not really a big deal, but battery life is still pretty good. It's definitely not as good as the 11 Pro Max or even the iPhone 10 or iPhone 11, but I think it'll get the job done for the most part. So I think overall, that pretty much covers it. The iPhone XS Max is still completely worth it. I think it's a tremendous phone still. Just make sure you don't overpay for it. I wouldn't pay more than like $650. I wouldn't pay more than $700 for like the top tier model. At that point, I would probably just end up getting like an 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max, to be honest, but that really pretty much covers it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.